Earlier this year, we saw a big-budget Hollywood movie take the entertainment world by storm for the second time in months. The first, of course, was The Blue People and Avatar. The second was a movie all about dreaming, Inception, a movie that dared suggest that we are all really living inside a dream, a lucid dream. Now, lucid dreaming is one fascinating concept, and East Side's own best-selling dream analyst, Joan Hanger, who happened to also be Princess Diana's dream diva too, joins us on the line. Joan Hanger, a very good afternoon, and the chance to talk to you. I must be dreaming.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad, Joan. How are you?
That's great. I'm fine. After the sun's come out, so I'm very happy.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. We don't know. We're in a little cocoon. We don't know if the terrorists have bombed outside. We wouldn't have a clue.
As you do, as you should be too.
Exactly. Now, Joan, quickly, tell us what dreams are and what can we learn from them to kick things off?
Dreams are messages from your heart, actually, and what you can learn from them is listening to yourself, to your inner self, and taking note of what your subconscious is trying to tell your conscious.
Well, that's very wonderful. Now, what do you know about lucid dreaming?
About which dreams?
Lucid.
Lucid dreams
where we
are
find out
interesting. They're not in everybody's they're not everyone's cup of tea, and they're not in everyone's subconscious, really. They are very, very unusual and hard to understand, but they are there. They bring a complete degree of control over the outcome of a dream.
Yes.
Practice. If someone is listening now and they are lucid dreamers, they know what I mean. The fact is that they are dreams that you can feel that you are looking at your dream. And
you know that you're dreaming.
The process is it's one where the dreamer, you're aware that you are dreaming. And not everyone has this. And then that means you have a greater or a lesser control of what happens in the dream.
Yeah, well, that sounds fascinating. Can you sort of make them happen, or do they just happen naturally?
If you start to become a dreamer, really look at your dreams, start taking note of them, and start showing your subconscious that you're very serious about learning more about what your brain and what is happening during the night time, you'd be surprised at what things can really happen. Most prolific dreams, people who dream a lot, they have, at one stage or another, experienced a lucid dream. Now, sometimes they haven't even realised it until they start talking it out with someone like me.
Well, I actually had one last week.
Oh, really?
I did. I was dreaming, and I realised I was dreaming, but I was over the... Anyway, it was very strange. I was flying over Sydney City down George Street. Have you ever had a lucid dream?
Flying is a separate type of dream to lucid dreaming.
Well, I know, but I sort of became lucid while I was flying.
Oh, right. Well, actually, that can happen. Funnily enough, someone was telling me a dream of that on the weekend, and they were describing their flying as levitation. Right. And I was quite fascinated at the fact that it's very rare that someone, when they're telling me about their flying dream, will describe it as levitating. And I think that may be what you've been doing, Taylor, because when you are you can actually look down and have more control than when you're flying and wondering where you're going.
Well, that's very interesting, because it is almost like that. I just start walking, and then each step I move further off the ground. It is like levitating. That's exactly right.
Yes, good.
And well, the fact that it becomes a lucid dream, does that mean... what sort of effect does that have on the meaning of the dream?
Well, in short, according to the consciousness, the more power while we sleep and dream, we're giving more power to our unconscious, and a really powerful role in our conscious as well, because when we wake up, you're able to describe this and feel, well, I've got more powers there than I realised. Yeah. And if you can start to accept the harmony between the inner and the outer states of our goals, and then lucid dreaming is a useful aid to integrate how we are with our inner and outer selves.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, I've had a look on the internet.
Yes.
Which you're floating around on as well, but we'll get to that in a sec.
Yes.
But I found some sort of common dreams that people are having out there.
Yes.
Would you mind just running... I'll run through some of them, and you can tell us what they might mean?
Not at all.
Okay. A big one, which we mentioned earlier, is flying.
Yes.
Now, what does that generally mean?
Well, flying in dreams is absolutely marvellous, and a lot of handicapped people fly in their dreams. Blind people fly in their dreams. It's a wonderful, wonderful state. mainly from what the dreams of thousands and thousands of dreamers I have interpreted. The flying dream is one of the most common dreams in the world, but not the most. But flying dreams indicate that your ego is being stroked and that you are feeling on top of the world, no matter who's intimidated you during the day or whatever's happened. Even if you've had a really bad day, you go to bed and have a flying dream. But that means that you can get above it all. You're not going to be weighed down with other people's intimidations. The other thing about the flying dream, it mostly occurs to a lot of television presenters, to radio stars, to people who are out in the media. Because when they've had a great night, say someone like David Letterman, who has a big show every night in America, I mean, it's very common for people like that to dream of flying when they go to bed, because that is it. They've had a brilliant night and they are above everyone.
Oh, I absolutely love that analysis. I'm going to stick with that one. Another one, nakedness in public.
Nakedness in public is hysterical. It was Sigmund Freud,
especially in a dream.
Yes, in a dream. In a dream. Sigmund Freud regarded the naked dream as one of his favourites. He used to dream of standing in a bus queue naked, and no one took any notice of him, so he just couldn't believe it. What it really means, deep down and meaningful, the naked dream is that there's two ways of looking at it. Mainly it's because you are frightened to be exposed who you really are. And when you see yourself naked, you think, oh, well, you know, perhaps I'm not going to tell this about myself or that about myself.
Yeah.
Another thing about a naked dream is you can be very lazy about how you dress. So subliminally, it has a lot of messages there too.
Well, one other one, speaking of laziness, another one that I found, and one that I've had as well, is you're sort of physically held back in your dream and you try to punch someone or kick a ball or something, and it's like you're sort of wading through concrete almost. Do you know what I mean?
That type of dream is really quite a dream of insecurities, really. Okay. Anything like that where you're being held back, or else when you start moving around and everything you tread on disappears away, or you're being chased, those dreams often have their birth, put it that way, in our teenagership or when we're growing up.
Right.
And we're even younger than that when we have bigger brothers or sisters, or even just the fact of big parents make us dream this way. It's a type of insecurity. Some people carry it with them all their lives, that dream.
Yes, I've had it a lot. Now, let's personalise this a bit. I've got the wonderful Richard Schweitzer in the studio.
Oh, right. Hi, Richard. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, darling. Missing you. Haven't seen you for ages.
It's been a while.
In your little nest
in
over
our little
there.
cocoon, yeah.
Well, you know we love to have you on.
Well, well, here I am. I'll come and see you one day.
So I've got two questions for you.
Yeah.
One is a dream. I have travelled around Australia on a bus one stage, and I'm having these dreams where I need to get to the bus to travel, but I can't find my wallet or I can't find my bag, and I can't remember what my hotel room number is to find these things. What?
That's a total feeling of loss.
Yes.
It's LOSS. And it's LOST. It's a loss. And it's very much tied up with frustration, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find that if you can check on when you have a dream of that nature, if you check on the day of the dream, sometimes you'll get a message there of something or someone is frustrating to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to bed and dream of something like that. Again, subliminally, you may be very, very nonchalant about where you leave your things. And it's a message saying, you know, hi, Richard, get your act together a bit better.
Sure. So
you've got him.
You've got me. If I could ask more generally, how can we, as people who haven't been trained or practiced in dream interpretation, how can we engage with our dreams?
What I'd love people to do, Richard, is to engage immediately with the dream they have tonight, in so much as remembering just one little thing about it would be great. But when they go to sleep at night, it's a thing to try and engage immediately by saying, I'd like to have something really creative. I like to really dream of something brilliant tonight, and start programming oneself. Because we do get into a rut with our dreaming state as much as we do with our everyday. Like, I think I'll have that dream of being chased again. I know how I've always had that dream. Boring. But you mustn't do that. What you need to be doing is to take another 10 minutes or so longer to go to sleep. Make sure your bedroom's relaxed, not with televisions and music and goodness knows what.
Mm-hmm.
Read something very restful and sweet, or something highly provocative or frightening. and then try and just go to sleep and try to encourage dreams. It's almost like when you're learning to drive, you have to learn to drive by practicing with the car. It's the same with your dream state, Richard. You need to practice and want to do it.
Okay.
Well, Joan, it's a wonderful thing, the world of dreams. It's almost like a drug without the side effects. And
it can be. I mean, you know me, you know what I'm like.
Oh, no. Well, you've got the side effects. That's the problem. No, but before you go, I just want to tell everyone you've got this fantastic website up,
yes.
and it's it must have taken you ages to think of the name, joanhanger.com.
Thank you for that. Yes, Joan Hanger, as in coat hanger, not the AR, and .com.
Yes.
And I also have some amazing world-class readers on my site who will give you a reading on anything. Perhaps you prefer to read on tarot,
oh, wow.
Or the other, your astrology or whatever you'd like to do. Oh, also your dreams. So it's all there for you on my new webpage. And thank you, Taylor, for that.
And they can order your books as well, is that right?
They can.
Yeah.
They can order my books. There's a high, you can see how pretty they are and how gorgeous they all are. And there is a children's dream book that really, I'm such an optimist that, I'm trying still to get adults to remember their dreams, Richard, but I also believe children, you should never say that's just a dream to your child. Get your child to draw the dream and put it up on the fridge. Start encouraging dreams early.
Wonderful. Joan Hanger, wonderful as always.
Lovely. And sweet dreams to you both.
Sweet dreams to everyone.
Okay.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thanks, Joan.